welcome to the Pursuit of Healthiness Podcast. My name is Renata van Delft. I'm a health and mindset coach, entrepreneur, fiance, spaghetti and ice cream lover, and a cat mom. I'm really passionate about empowering women into greatness, make them feel empowered and confident in their bodies. I love deep and real conversations, so in this podcast, I will bring in guests to talk about health, happiness, and everything in between on a more raw and deeper level. No small talk and no information is left behind. These are real life stories, so get uncomfortable and enjoy. How to find that passion again? Is he the one? And how to maintain a healthy relationship? Welcome at today's episode about relationships. I'm together with my partner for over 10 years. We got together when I was 15 years old and he was 17, and we're still going strong. He's the love of my life. I am so blessed to have him in my life, and it's getting better and better. I love him every single day a little bit more, even though I cannot imagine I can love him even more. It is happening, and yeah, like I said, I'm so blessed. So imagine that I'm 25 years old and I got together with my fiance now when I was 15. So we were together over 10 years, and that brings us a lot of questions. A lot of people are asking, how do you do it, and how do you keep the spark alive, and are you sure he's the one? And of course I know he's the one. it's hard to say when you know he's the one. You cannot describe it. It's really cliche, but if you know, you know. But there are some guidelines that you can keep in mind. Let me call them the green flags. I mean, we all know about red flags. You know, when you see them or hear them about a person, you know that's not good. You know you have to run. But there are also a lot of positive signs that you know that he could be the one. And for me, personally, the first date we had together, the first time I saw him, we went on a date. We went to see a movie, and I am a very, very shy person. Like, really shy. But he was the first guy that got me talking, that got me out of my shell, even to this day, he is saying that I was still super shy. But for my feeling, I was really, really open. I was talking to him. I felt comfortable. And that's when I knew, like, okay, this guy is different. This guy does something to me that I haven't felt before. And I've been on a couple of dates before, even though I was 15. I've been on a couple of dates before. And even with some older guys, I'm sorry, Mom, if you're listening. She probably doesn't know. But it was just so different. They didn't show the interest in me as the way Davey did. Davey is my partner, for the ones who don't know. But not just that, he was just the way he talked, the way he treated me, the feeling that he gave me, the vibe I had with him. It was just all perfect. It was aligning. It was beautiful. And I know I'm blessed. I know there are so many people who get divorced maybe 5 times before they meet the one, or they have gone through really, really bad relationships. So if you have, please don't think that I'm trying to brag about my relationship. Absolutely not. I know how blessed I am. I know how lucky I am. But because I found the one at such a young age, I think I know I know what it takes to have a great relationship. And believe me, I've been I haven't really been dating, but talking to a lot of bad guys. So I know when I see one. But anyway, I'll bring you back to our first date, and then I will get over the details on how to have a healthy relationship and all. But first, I want you to understand where my relationship comes from and how we are lasting this long with no fights at all. Like, none. In the 10 years we've been together, none. And maybe this will be a red flag for you, because everybody tells you a healthy relationships, it's good to have a fight from time to time. But I'm not saying it's unhealthy, but no. I mean, we have a really good healthy relationship and we're never fighting. So I will take you back. I was 15, he was 17. We know each other from online, actually. I can't say it right now. Back then it was taboo. Nobody was speaking about it. But these days everybody is online and searching for the one on Tinder. So, but anyway, back then, 15 years old, the time of MSN and Hives, MySpace. I found him online and I was like, oh, he lives in the neighborhood. He looks good. Let me add him. So I add him, send him a message. But normally, when I would speak to someone online, I would talk to them for months and FaceTime and call them before I would go on a date. But he immediately was like, okay, let's go on a date. I want to see you in real person. And that was 3 days. We went on a date 3 days after I sent him a message online. And I was like, should I do it? So I asked my friends, like, hey, I've met this guy. Should I go out with him? One of them said no, one of them said yes. So I went because I was like, he lives nearby. What can happen? We are meeting at a central spot. What can happen, And I saw him on the webcam and we talked over the phone. So I was like, okay, it's fine, And he looked familiar. It was like I've seen him before. So I was like, I just go. I broke my own rules about dating. I went after 3 days talking to him online. So we met, or went well we met yeah we met at the spot we agreed on. But I went earlier because I was nervous. I'm so shy, I'm so nervous. So I went there and I was like, oh, what if he doesn't like me? What if he doesn't show up? And then I saw him on his bike and I was like, oh, that's him. And I was so nervous and I got those butterflies in my stomach and I was like, I was screaming in my head, but I didn't do that, of course, because otherwise he would think that I was weird. um, so yeah, we met. I was like, hey, Renanda, and we went into the supermarket, got some drinks. I didn't want any because I was just too nervous to do anything. Because after that we would take the bus to a place and see a movie, because in our town we didn't have a cinema. So we were waiting for the bus and he asked me something, and I was a little bit in shock because I was like, a guy has never asked me this, and he is already asking me this after 5 minutes I've met him. So I was a little bit in shock, but also, I don't know, I felt good about it. And now you're probably thinking, what the hell did he ask her? He asked me for a hug. Like 5 minutes. I knew him 5 minutes. I said, well, I knew him 3 days, but in real life, in person, he asked me after 5 minutes if he could get a hug from me, and I was like, oh my god, that's so sweet. And even now, he's like, I don't know why I asked it back then, but I just felt like hugging you. And apparently, I'm a huggable person because a lot of people have the urge to hug me when they see me. I don't know if I have something pathetic over me that people are like, "Oh, come here, I wanna hug you," or that I'm just like a little bear that people want to cuddle me. I don't know. But yeah, we went to the movies. We kissed. We went to see Step Up 3D. It sucked. But we weren't there for the movie. I mean, if you go on a date to see a movie, you're never going to see the movie. So we kissed like the entire time of the movie, so we didn't actually see the movie. And then afterwards, there was a kermis, I don't know the English word, I think carnival, was in that town. So we went over there and it was raining like crazy. But it had something romantic. You know those romantic movies when they are in a carnival with all the lights and it's raining and we both were soaking wet and then we kissed. It was a magical, magical moment. Hmm. I'm still like dreaming about it when I'm talking about this right now. It was really magical, but he was so sweet. And after that, he brought me home and he got inside. We talked a bit, and then after that, I've seen him um, almost every single day. Because after our date, he had to go away for the weekend. But after he came back, we've seen each other every single day for the past 10 years. Maybe a month we haven't seen each other because he went on a holiday with some friends and family sometimes. But let's say a month and a half of our 10 years together, we've been separated. We've been apart. Not really separated. I mean, we've never broke up, but I mean, not being together. Um, and to be honest, I love it. I love to be with him. He loves to be with me, and it just I feel so good when I'm around him, and it feels the way he makes me feel is so great. And I think that is a sign that you've met the one. If you can be 100% yourself, no judgments, just being you with somebody in the room, because to be honest, you don't know me that well yet, but I'm crazy. Especially when I'm hungry. I just told Davy about it actually in the car. I was like, if you want to know your partner, like how he or she is 100%, like in its purest form, then you should let them starve and see how they are when they are hungry, especially the woman. If you are listening, I think you can agree. I mean, I'm a monster when I'm hungry. You know, hungry and angry at the same time. You're angry because you're hungry. I've uh okay, I'll take you back to a situation. I got back from work and I was supposed to eat with Davy and a friend, and he was going to make dinner. But I worked late night, well, not really late nights, but I worked around dinner time. I was working at the cafeteria, so I had food all around me, but I wasn't allowed to eat. So you can imagine that if you're hungry, you really want to eat. So I was so happy my shift was over. I went home, I wanted food, and now. But he wasn't finished yet. And I was like, no, I'm so hungry. Just give me food. So his friend showed me the cutest little video about cats because I love cats, or some other animal. I don't remember. I think it was a cat. And I was like, yeah, cute. Just give me food. And that look in his face, just the way I said it, I just cannot even repeat it how I did it back then. But both of them, Davy and his friend, those faces were like, holy shit. We have to leave her alone. We have to give her food now. Otherwise she will eat us. But he loves me still. So yeah, he's a keeper. um yeah, it's just wow. Now that I'm thinking about it. I was really a monster. But like I said, he still loves me. He's still with me day to day, and he knows the signs. When I'm hungry, he gives me food. So it's all good. We're all good. But moving fast forward to a couple of years ago, I started to read the book The Five Love Languages from Gary Chapman. I don't know if you have read it, but if you haven't, I will explain everything about it and how it affected my relationship, or well, not really affected my relationship, because in the book The Five Love Languages, Gary Chapman is talking about five ways we receive or give love. And that's receiving gifts or gift giving, acts of service, physical touch, and that's not just sex. for the ones who think about it immediately. It's not just sex, just physical touch. Um, Quality time, that's a really important one for me. And words of affirmation. So those are the 5 ways we receive or give love. And it's important to speak each other's language, because like we have language to speak with each other, but you also have a universal language when it comes to music, and that's also when it comes to love. If you don't speak each other's language, you cannot understand them. You hear what they are saying, but you don't fully understand them. Like if you have an English person talking to a Chinese person, you can talk, but you don't understand what the other person means. And that's the same with love. um, After I read that book, I found out that we are doing the whole love languages. We already did that without knowing that there was an actual term for it. We also, because we both have the similar love languages, because of those 5, there's always 1 or 2 that you feel most loved by, or you feel most appreciated by. And for me personally, of those 5, it's quality time and acts of service. So to me, it's really important that we spend time together. If he's going away with friends, I need him to, well, not really, especially now, not anymore, but especially in the beginning, I wanted him to contact me when he was with friends, so I knew he was okay. I knew he was thinking of me, and not in a controlling way. I really thought, even though I know it doesn't make sense, and it wasn't the case at all, but I was thinking, he's with his friends, he doesn't love me anymore. That's maybe drastic, but that's how I was thinking. And now that I look back, now I know there is a term for it. I know that quality time is 100% my love language. Because, like I said, if he's away, I feel like he doesn't love me. And on the other side of that, it's, to me, it doesn't matter where we are or what we are doing, as long as we are together. So, of course, I value a movie night or something like that. And that's also part of it. But I can just sit in a room with him and be totally at peace. We don't have to talk, we don't have to touch, just being in the same room. That's okay for me. But how I feel mostly connected with Davy, and then I'm talking about connected, not about being loved by Davy, is when we are traveling together. We both love to travel a lot. Even just driving in a car, because at the moment we don't have a car. So sometimes we are renting a car to um, pick up friends and family who are going to visit us, or just because we want to have a car for that moment. And even just driving around the island is making us both feel really, really good and feel connected with each other. And the other one is acts of service. So to me, it's very important that he shows me that he loves me. Um, Even if it's just something simple like doing the dishes, I appreciate that so much. Like, he could bring me a flower every day or chocolate or anything. Of course, I appreciate that too. I mean, like I said before, it's 5 ways we all feel loved, but there are 1 or 2 that just stick out. I don't really care about that. I prefer him to clean the house or do the dishes or make me breakfast. I prefer that over getting chocolate or getting flowers or getting something in general. The other one is physical touch. Like I said before, I don't really have that. Like I said, of course, I love a cuddle, and I love cuddles, but it's not my main love language. But if you have physical touch as a love language, you value touching a lot, even holding hands, or just when you are in the kitchen and he grabs you from behind, or just something like that, or just a hand on your shoulder, just to be really physically connected with each other. That's really important for you if physical touch is your main language, love language. And of course, sex is a part of that as well. I mean, having sex with each other is really intimate. So, gift giving, I've already talked a bit about that. It speaks for itself. It's receiving or giving gifts. And if you appreciate it when your husband comes home or your wife comes home with flowers or something else, then giving gifts is definitely your love language. And if you fight over that in your current relationship or in your past relationship, if you've been fighting over stuff like that, hopefully you now know what kind of love language you have, and now you see how important it is to speak each other's love language. Because if we go back to my personal story, and with Davy, my love languages are quality time and um, acts of service, but Davy's are quality time and words of affirmation. So to him it's really important that I speak, I communicate with him. I say what I want to say, or that I say with words that I appreciate him, that I'm proud of him, that I love him. That's words of affirmation. But if I wouldn't know that, and if I would project my love languages on him, then I would probably do stuff for him all around the house. Well, and in my best intentions, because I love him. But he could still feel unloved, because I'm not saying to him like, oh, I appreciate you and I love you and I'm proud of you and you're the world to me. That could possibly be the case if I wasn't speaking his love language. Luckily, quality time is for both of us number one love language. So we love to be together, and like I said, it doesn't matter what we do as long as we are together. So I hope you have a little bit, a brief idea about that. I will talk about relationships much, much more and much, much deeper in other episodes, but now you have kind of an idea how we are lasting for 10 years, because we are just speaking each other's love language and communicate. We communicate about what we want, if we feel disconnected for a moment, because as in life you have ups and downs, so you have that in relationships as well. You feel more connected with the other person than other times, and once you realize that, we don't let it be. If I feel disconnected with Davy, I tell him, I'm like, hey Davy, I feel less connected with you, I want to feel the connection again, and then we do something about that. So we talk about everything, and I don't feel judged when I say something. I don't feel like I cannot be myself around him. I was talking about this topic actually with him, I think last week, and sometimes you see couples that are afraid to talk about anything, even for sex, like fantasies that they are having or things they would love to try but are afraid to talk about that with their partner. And I'm like, but if you have a partner where you feel like you cannot say that to them because you're afraid that they will judge you or hate you or leave you, then that's not a good sign. Then maybe it's not the right person, because I know I can say anything to Davy. It's more from the inside sometimes that I feel embarrassed, but I know I can speak to him about it anyway. It doesn't matter what topic it is, but it's more my own embarrassment, more embarrassment for myself instead of the situation or the topic I want to talk about. So if you have that feeling with your partner, you have to try and fix that. You have to be open with each other, because even though you may be together for 3, 5, 10, 25, 50 years, if you don't communicate with each other, you still don't know what's going on in someone else's head. You can know each other until the bone, until the deep soul, but you will never, never truly know what the other person thinks. So you have to communicate. You just have to. Even though it could be uncomfortable, or embarrassing or difficult. I mean, I'm not the most brave person when it comes to confrontations. Absolutely not. But because I communicate and he does the same, there is never a confrontation. There is never a fight. Because we speak about everything so openly that we can just speak with each other on a normal level, even if we disagree with each other. Disagreeing with each other doesn't mean that you hate the other person. Disagreeing with each other, I mean, that's fine. It would be weird if you have the same opinion always. That would just be weird. Well, of course, that's a good thing. I mean, I agree with on a lot of things with Davy as well, but there are still some tiny things that we disagree on, but that's okay. And we can discuss that, and we often make a debate out of it, and it's funny. We are laughing about it. It's fun. And sometimes we even do it on purpose because, well, I wouldn't say our relationship is boring. Absolutely not. But sometimes it's just funny to, to how do you say it, steer into the wheel? To just be annoying. Sometimes it's just funny to be annoying and to be, even if I would agree with him, then I would disagree just for fun. Or actually, he does that more than I do because he just wants to create a reaction and a discussion and a conversation, and it's just fun. And that's why I believe that fights, of course, it's healthy to sometimes have a fight, because if you agree on anything, like I said, that's literally everything. That's not good. But never having a fight, being unhealthy, is not something I agree with, because like I said, we just speak openly about everything. We can discuss everything, so it will never heat up until that point. And even if we are angry sometimes, of course, sometimes I'm angry with him and he's angry. Well, he's never angry with me, actually. Now that I think about it. Well, in the beginning of our relationship, I think in the first three years of our relationship, I would get angry, but that was more because, like I've been talking about it before with my love language, with the quality time, that he would go away with friends and without telling me where he is. Then I was so pissed, but I didn't start a fight. I would just let him know, like, hey, I'm angry. I don't like what you're doing. But it's not a fight of screaming and throwing stuff. And, it's just I'm crying and that's it. I'm telling what I feel and that's it. Um, so it never comes to that point of really fighting with each other. And sometimes, like I said, he gets angry, but that's more on the situation, not personally to me. And that is something that I know I can, um I forget the word of it, but oh wait, yeah, I know. But I know the difference when he's angry with me or angry on the situation. And it happens more often that he's angry with the situation and not to me. But because I'm the only person around, because let's be honest, we only have each other. We are living abroad. We have no one over here. So we only have each other. And then I'm the person who is there that he reacts to. And I don't always agree with him. And sometimes I'm telling him, like, I know you're not angry with me, but you don't talk to me like that. And then it's okay, it's fine. And he calms down and it's okay. I know he's not angry with me, but the situation. But if you don't know that the difference of your partner when he's angry at a situation or at you, then you have a problem. And I think that misunderstanding that is what causes a lot of fights in relationships, because one person gets angry about a situation or about something completely different than you, but they get angry at you because you are the closest to them. I mean, it's much easier to get angry with the person you love than someone you don't know. But if you are a person that reacts on that the same way he reacts to you, so with anger, and you fuel that anger, then you'll get into a fight. So if you are trying to see and understand and feel the difference between your spouse's feelings in the moment, then you will never have a fight. And you will have a really happy and healthy relationship. And a funny thing, sometimes I just Google videos on YouTube about old couples who have been together for like 50 years, and I'm like, wow, I will be a couple like that. I don't doubt that. I mean, I will be like that with Davy, but the interviewer always ask a couple like that, like, how do you how can you be together for so long? What's the secret of having a happy relationship for so long? And they often say communication, because communication is key. Or a funny thing I saw the other day was an old man saying that he just listens to his wife and does everything she says. And he didn't mean that in a submissive way, like she's so dominant, I do whatever she says, but he's like, she loves me and she knows what's best for me. Because women, let's be honest, over here, guys are such just children that have grown older. I mean, they often do the stupidest things, and we are the ones who are trying to keep them safe and know what's best for them. So, and that's how he meant it. He meant it in a way like, she is loving me so much and she wants the best for me. So I just do whatever she wants. I mean, if she wants me to get the garbage out, I do that. I mean, that's the least I can do. She's cleaning the house, she's making me food, she's loving me as the person, for the person that I am. And I was like, wow, that's also really, really beautiful. And I feel like Davy and I have that role play, if I may say. I feel like we have that as well. Like, Davy does everything to make me happy, and it's so sweet. And I love him for that. And because he puts so much effort in it, and because he's trying so hard to make me happy, I want him to be happy as well. It's a two-way street, a relationship. And what we both always say, like almost every single day, is that of course we love each other. That's something we say every single day, a couple of times a day. But not because I have to, but because I want to. And that's why I don't see relationships as hard work. Because it's not hard work if you want something. And that goes for a job as well, for losing weight, for whatever it is that you want. If you want something, then it doesn't feel like a chore, it doesn't feel like a burden, it doesn't feel like a must, because you want to. And I want to love Davy so bad, and I want to grow old with him. I I just want to be with him all the time, and because of that, I just do whatever it takes to make him happy, and he does the same. We're trying to make each other happy all the time, so then it's okay. And I know it's always easy to be with someone when things are going well. I mean, you could be with anyone when things are going well. But we've been through a lot of stuff together, a lot of hard stuff together, that probably a lot of relationships wouldn't survive. But we did, because we want to be with each other. We want to spend time together. We want to make an effort to be with each other. We are prioritizing time with each other. It's not always a good thing, because we are both trying to work for ourselves and build a business. So sometimes it's that dilemma, like, oh, but we want to be together, but I also have to finish this. Yeah, but I also want to be with you. Like, I want to cuddle. Yeah, but I also need to, Um, so it's not always a good thing that we want to be together, but in general, it's the best thing. It's it's amazing. And the last thing that I want to say about this, and a last um, quote, I would say it, I would talk about, is that you cannot love someone else until you love yourself. I semi agree with that, because like I said, we've been together since I was 15 years old. I didn't love myself. I hated myself back then. And self love has been a priority for me for the last 2 years. And now that I love myself, I know, well, I don't necessarily love Davey more, but I love him differently. Like compliments that he gives me, he has always given me that. But now that I love myself, I take those compliments, if you know what I mean. And if you don't love yourself, you don't believe the compliments that you get from that person. And it's not even their fault, but because you don't believe them, you don't trust them. I hope you understand what I mean with this. But now that I love myself, and he's like, "You look good today," and I'm like, "Yeah, damn, I look good today." I'm happy with it. And if he would say that to me 8 years ago, and he would say to me like, "You look good today," then I would be like, "Really? I don't feel like that." Like, no. And then, because you are thinking like that, you are building stuff up in your head, and that's all in your own head, because he still loves me the same way he did back then. Well, maybe not the same way, because love also evolves. It starts with those butterflies when you all get together. Everything is exciting and everything is new. And then as your relationships evolves and matures, that feeling as well. But I know that I still sometimes get those butterflies in my stomach. And I don't mean the butterflies really down there, but I mean really in my stomach. I mean really, like, I'm back 10 years again when I first saw him, the butterflies. And I'm just so grateful that I can still have them when I see them. And yeah, I'm just really, really grateful for my relationship. So I hope this has helped you a little bit. Like I said before, I will talk about relationships a lot more, and with some guests of mine, and it's 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 something I can talk about for hours and hours, because I'm just so passionate about relationships and love, because I have such a good and great relationship that I know I can help other people with. Not because I know better, but also, yeah, because I know better. I mean, I've been together 10 years with him, and of course that's not worth a trophy or anything, but I've been together with him since I was 15. And when you were a teenager and you were growing up, you can go two ways, and that's, you are high school sweethearts, but when you get older, you move on with your life, you become your own individual, and you grow apart. But what happened to us is, we got together when we were teenagers. We've been through a lot. I would say above average what another teenager would go through. And we're still together. We are growing together. We are evolving as persons individually, but we're also growing together, and that is something that is quite unique for this age. It's quite unique that two high school sweethearts are both working on themselves, working on self improvement, self education, self love, and still grow in their relationship as well. Because what sometimes happens in relationships is that one of the two grows as a person. and they want different things from life. And that's when you see when couples are breaking up, because the other one wants other things out of life, because they've been growing in a different speed or a different way than their partner did. So in the end, they are strangers from each other, because they as they were growing as an individual, they were not growing as a couple. So, and that is what happened with Davy and I. We are both individuals growing and improving on ourselves, but we also are improving our relationship every single time. We are making sure that not only we put time on ourselves and we prioritize ourselves, we also prioritize each other and our relationship together and our bond. And I think that's what makes the difference between us. I see as a healthy, amazing, great couple, and another couple that got together because it was new and exciting, and they were just living their lives, and in the end it just didn't work anymore, if you know what I mean. And I think that's the difference.